transcripts. So transcripts, we have the option of the computer or AI generated. For us, we're currently using Otter AI. And then there's human generated. Up until recently, we've not had very good computer/AI generated options, but of course, since COVID and Zoom meetings and us being better about thinking on how to make things more accessible to everyone, tools have gotten better. And so we typically recommend a hybrid approach. That's what we do. We'll generate the transcript first using an audio file and Otter AI. So it's an AI generated transcript. It does the best it can. It is not 100% perfect. It's going to struggle with different vocal intonations. It's going to struggle with different accents. It's going to struggle if there's any sort of background noise competing with the other people noises. And sometimes it can struggle with who's talking. Typically, it can identify that there's two different people. But if the vocal tones are similar, or if there's some other sort of audio discrepancy, it can sometimes be like, oh no, it's all this one person talking. So keep that in mind, which is why then we have the human approach, not only to make sure our names, places spelled correctly, but to make sure that just in general, like the English language in this case, whichever language you're doing it in, is actually accurate as a human reads it versus what the AI thought it might be. So usually there's a generate it first through AI, which is a great first round, get it written out without you having to type it. And then as a human being, having someone go through it, listen to it, and doing some of the corrections and revisions is a good second draft approach. We use Otter AI. This is a screenshot from one of our interviews. Parts of what I like about Otter AI is first that it has the ability to collaborate with some of your different team members. So once we get the transcript generated, multiple different members of my team can come in, make notes, do like edit the actual transcript or put in some highlighted or copied notes. We get also this great little metadata up here at the top in terms of what the interview is, when it was loaded, what's the duration. Summary keywords, which I kind of love, are very helpful key pointers in terms of like, what is this interview about? Like we know it was roughly about Birmingham and the civil rights era of the 1960s. But in addition to that, what is this interview actually about? And then the fun little speaker's note of how much was the interviewee, which naturally should be the majority of it, and how much of the speaking was the interviewer. So great interface, can do multiple collaboration, and then also down here, playing, speeding up, skipping back, skipping forward, easy editing with pencil inline as you're listening to it. It's while the AI is not perfect in its generation of the transcript, it is one of the easier tools to work with when you're doing that editing process. So that's what we're using for now. I would love to hear if anybody else is using something that is equally awesome or even better. So as we think about editing as the actual action versus tool or software, the transcript review and editing is going to be a multi-round process, or at least it should be as you're doing a project. Checking for names, checking for events, checking for special phrases, making sure that those are accurate. And then again, thinking about that ethics of care and centering the well-being of our interviewees. We want to provide a transcript to the interviewee for review. So this is before we finalize things. This is when we've done the first little cleaning of edits, video-wise and transcript-wise, and we're having them take a look at the whole of the interview and making sure that they're okay with it. This is, again, something that didn't used to be done by oral historians, again, because they didn't want people to be like, oh, please take this out, or I say too much, or what have you. They didn't want them to change their minds. But given what we know now, given that we need to be better at taking care of the people that we're working with, this is now an area of policy where we just provide them a transcript before anything is finalized for our project to make sure that they're still 100% okay with what's making it into the historical record.